Welcome to the advisory deck, out on location in 2021 for the very first time. So we thought it would be, well, we're cheating, it's just before 2021, but we thought we would come to somewhere pretty special. And we're here in McLaren Vale. I'm once again joined by my partner in crime, James McGill. How are you, James?
I'm good, Troy, thank you.
Good to hear. And we have come to the Pertaringa Wines by Bec Hardy, Celador. Bec Hardy is joining us. How are you, Bec?
Thank you, I'm going very well.
Good.
Thanks, Troy.
How was your Christmas?
It was really nice Christmas. Yes, nice and relaxed, lots of seafood. It was just a lovely day.
Glass of wine or two, maybe?
One or two.
Maybe, yeah.
Thank you for having us on your beautiful deck, and it's a spectacular part of McLaren Vale that we're in here on a gorgeous summer's morning. And we thought it'd be a perfect chance to come and have a conversation with yourself and Richard, your husband, business owners, about navigating an interesting year in business, in setting up a new brand, in the wine industry in Australia. Heck of a year to, I guess, start a new business, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, had been talking for the last 4 years about succession with my parents, and it got very close to it middle of last year. Didn't quite get over the line last year, so started talking again about when COVID hit, which was very timely.
Yeah.
So we started talking at that stage. Mum and Dad being in their mid-60s. Dad loves being out in the vineyard, but just wanted to step back a little bit and just have a bit more time to himself. So Richard and I are sort of raring to go, and we've been based here at Pertaringa and running Pertaringa since 2011. So we were keen to buy the brand from Mum and Dad, so that's what we did. Just ended up timing-wise wasn't fantastic. So that was one major challenge that was thrown at us. We've had a few other challenges on the way as well. Part of the deal, everyone had thought that the Chinese salesperson who had been working for Wines by Bec Hardy and selling around 60% of the Pertaringa wines, she was going to come across to Bec Hardy Wines, but at the last minute she decided to stay with Wines by Bec Hardy. Her parents pushed her towards that because in China, staying with the older generation is such an important thing. So we suddenly found ourselves without a Chinese salesperson for the first 6 weeks, which at the time we thought, oh my goodness, how are we going to cope? But in hindsight, it was actually quite a good thing because it did get us looking more at other markets.
Right.
Plus we had also recognised a few years ago that we needed to spend more time and effort in the domestic market as well. Domestically, if you have a well-known brand, then you're going to sell more overseas. People realise that you're a real brand. You're not just a pretend brand that people buying bulk and sticking a label on it. So that's something that we recognised and wanted to spend more time and effort on, which we did. Another very noisy birds here.
Beautiful. Part of the ambience.
It is. Yeah. So when we obviously had to close Celador around the time that we were negotiating the final sort of transaction with Mum and Dad, and so we thought we'd take that as a good opportunity to actually spend some money and do some renovations here at Celador because nothing had been done here for 20 years. So put our stamp on it and do our own branding and everything. So that's been a lot of fun. We had an interior designer, Georgie Shepherd, who we got in, and she did a bit of a mood board and some plans, and I took those plans and basically use that. So it's been a lot of fun.
That's amazing.
Doing that.
We'll insert brand here and we'll show some around, but it looks terrific.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and we've had some really good feedback as well. Another change we've been looking at making anyway was moving to seated tastings. So people these days I think are looking for more of an experience rather than
pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID, that's what we were thinking.
So the vertical consumption, horizontal was not part of. Okay.
No, so we actually were planning on doing that anyway because a lot of people these days are not just coming to Celador to taste wine and buy. A lot of people, especially younger people, are coming for the experience. They want to sit around with their friends. They want to actually get a bit of a platter together or whatever and actually sit and have a nice afternoon. And so that's what people are doing these days more and more. So we thought we'd move to more seated tastings, and then it was sort of forced upon us anyway. So, but the plans that we'd done before all that came out were all seated tastings. So a lot of what we were sort of thinking in the past the whole COVID thing has sort of crystallised those thoughts that we had, and we thought, yes, this is, we will definitely go ahead and do what we were thinking of doing anyway. So it has been really quite interesting.
What a year.
But good. Yeah, it has been. It has been.
James, fascinating, and we've got the Pertaringa brand, an established existing brand which has been going
40 years now.
40 years. And on top of this now, we've got Wines by Bec Hardy, a brand new sort of, but still steeped in the Hardy name and the history of that as well. There must be some interesting kind of lessons coming through here. We've got some harvesting equipment coming down the road, so forgive all manner of noises that we've got here. There must be some interesting learnings to kind of come out of, I guess, that new brand development exercise as well.
Yes, yeah, it's been good, because there's been a few things that Rich and I have wanted to do for years, and by being out on our own and having a new Bec Hardy brand, we've been able to go out and do that. We've, a slightly probably more nature slant on things. I'm a member of the Nature Foundation board, and so nature is really important to us, and the environment. So we've been able to do more of a bent towards that way, a bit more sustainable in packaging, looking at more lightweight packaging, and all sorts of things like that. So it's been quite good that a few changes that we've been wanting to make for a while, we have been able to make. So it's been good.
Okay.
So the actual wine styles of brands and two separate brands. The wine styles are quite different. The packaging is really quite a diversion between the two.
There is, one is the Pertaringa tends to be the more expensive wines as well. They are the McLaren Vale, that's our McLaren Vale brand, whereas the Bec Hardy tend to be the slightly lower priced wines. A lot of them are South Australia GI as opposed to McLaren Vale. Right. So they tend to be slightly lighter, like the reds tend to be slightly lighter, more elegant style, more early, easy drinking, drink now styles.
So a younger audience, is that? Well, you might not different. I mean, everyone buys the wine. You're happy to sell the wine, right?
Yes.
Is it more of a younger or a more modern palate?
Well, there's younger as well as people more everyday drinking as well. Yes. People, it's not just your weekend
not
wine.
Not an occasion wine.
It's more of a drink any time wine. But certainly things like the rosé is targeted probably more at a younger market. But in saying that, there's been a lot of people and a lot of guys, which sort of surprised me how many guys were asking to taste the rosé the first weekend we launched it. So it's been there's been a few things that you sort of go, that's not quite what I was expecting, but it's been good.
Interesting how you can have a plan, a view about a business or a new product, and you think it's going to work in some way, and you realise no matter how much planning you do and how much thinking you do, there's still areas that you haven't considered, a market that you don't know about. So you need best learnings, isn't it? You move from the idea to execution. You do something and figure it out as you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tough year to launch it. Wow.
One of the interesting things, and James and I have spoken about this on a couple of these episodes, is customer experience, and you sort of referenced it then. In a business where you've had to close down the Celador for a period of time, it's reopening now, but with a digital presence, trying to stay in someone's life constantly through connection, through social media, through them being part of a wine club, and trying to take the essence of this experience, which we can't come and enjoy every day, it's lovely when we can, and hold that on. What have you learned about how to try and keep that connection with a customer and keep that experience alive in their mind, even though they may only be here at the Celador once every so often?
There's quite a few aspects to that, and customer service, and from a sort of simple way perspective, that's something that Richard's certainly been really hot on for years and years, is customer service, getting the wine out to people as quickly as possible. So if they order on a Wednesday night, that wine's dispatched on a Thursday. We always dispatch it out within sort of 24 to 48 hours, business hours. We get it out as quickly as possible. And also being really responsive to people that write in, say, what's happened to my delivery? I ordered it 2 weeks ago, it's not here. We'll get straight onto the Courier or Australia Post and find out where it is and get back to them as quickly as possible. We've also started using live chat on the website, which for a wine brand, I don't think there's many others, but that is actually Richard. So you get the message saying, "Hi, my name's Richard. How can I help you?" And then he will, if people start typing in there, we get a message incoming chat. All hours of the morning. We've had 2:00 in the morning sometimes, and so he'll. Yes, if he's up for it, he'll reply to them at 2 in the morning. Yeah. So being really responsive to people is very important, and then just trying to connect with people as much as possible. We have a newsletter, digital newsletter that goes out fairly regularly. With our wine club, we've been doing events very regularly as well. So we only launched it, I'd say, I think it was about 3 or 4 months ago, and we've done 2 wine club events since then. So just trying to touch base with people as much as possible without annoying them too much, not doing daily emails or anything like that, but just staying in contact, and then if they want to get in touch with us, just being really responsive to.
I think a lot of people think customer service is a policy. Customer service is hard work. It's 2 a.m. It's that, constant, right?
Do you look at other wineries and compare yourselves to what they're doing from a customer service point of view? Because what you're talking about are things that in a good retail business are quite common.
Yes.
I shouldn't say quite common.
The good ones do it.
The good ones do it very, very well. And it is those small things like immediate responsiveness. A lot of wineries, and I guess the smaller wineries, where you want that experience, you get it at the Celador maybe, then you tend to walk away and forget about it because people don't follow you up, they don't have the newsletters, they don't have that engagement piece. Do you look at what other wineries are doing and think, well, we can do that better, or we are doing that better, or we'd like to copy what they're doing? Or do you just carve your own
there
path?
are the good ones that we do. We visit their Celador, we see how their people that working at their Celador, their team is talking to customers, how they react to. Someone said something about, I live in Melbourne, so if they say, free delivery over $150 or something like that, having points that you're able to, right, here's a hurdle, here's how you can overcome the hurdle. So we do visit a few Celadors, because we're now working pretty much 7 days a week. It's not something we have been doing much of lately, but beforehand we were. And then I do quite a lot of online shopping, so that's something that I'm always
just
thinking
for research
now.
purposes?
Exactly, yes. New dress, I have to do that one just to see what the customer service is like. So we are always looking at just normal retail, as you say, and little things like abandoned cart is something that we'd really like to do. That's something that I haven't. Not that I buy that much wine online, but I don't think many other wineries would have the abandoned cart option. But I think that's something that quite a few retailers, have you forgotten something? 24 hours later, because so often, working mum or that sort of thing, you've got a child, child suddenly needs dinner and get distracted, and so just to have that bit of just reminding you've got this in your shopping cart, do you want to finish off your sale? So little things like that we're certainly looking at.
Terrific. Well, Bec, you've got an amazing business here. You've been very generous. We've got customers coming in, so we're going to let you go and serve them as well. We're going to have a chat to Richard as well in a minute about some of the business. But we hope 2021 is an amazing year for you guys after such an unusual year that we've all navigated through. So thank you for letting us chat with you on your deck and sharing some of your experience. Thanks for joining us on the Advisory Focus.